Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Holistic Happiness Club, episode number 4. I'm thrilled to have you join us on this journey of personal growth, self discovery, and finding happiness. Whether you have been with us from the beginning or just stumbled upon our show, I want to extend a warm welcome and express my gratitude for your presence. You know, what is the most valuable thing someone can give to you in today's era? It is their time. And I'm so grateful and humbled that you have decided to spend some time with me, and I will try my level best to provide you the value for your time. In today's episode, we will discuss 4 problems that can bring stress in our day-to-day work routine. Also, we will discuss their solutions. And at the end, we will discuss 5 tips and tricks that you can apply immediately to reduce the level of stress and increase your happiness quotient. So without further delay, let's begin today's episode. This is fourth part of an ongoing series about workplace stress, some problems that can cause workplace stress and their solutions, some tips and tricks that can bring down workplace stress immediately if applied rightly. So if you have not watched or listened to our previous episode, I will highly recommend that you go back and listen to them first, because after that this episode will make so much more sense. Alright, so let's talk about problems and solution first, and today's first problem is job insecurity. You see, in these rapidly changing times where people are worried about economic slowdown, there is geopolitical factors are in play, there is something or the other happening every day at geopolitical level. There is war going on, and there is rise of AI, which is supposed to change and disrupt few industries. Feeling insecure about our job is normal, but this too adds stress. So what can be the solution for this seemingly normal problem? And the solution is again to focus on what we can control. We cannot control economy. AI is here to stay. Geopolitics is not our game. It's the game of the nations. We have very little to say in those games. So why we cannot control all those things which are going in outer world? What we can control is our inner world. We can control how we are feeling about it. What we can do, we can invest in learning. We can improve ourselves, make ourselves adaptable, make ourselves resilient from the changes. We can learn new things and grow from there, right? So we need to focus on controllables. Okay, let's take the technology example. You see, new technologies has always come. When computers came, people said same thing, that uh, it will take so many jobs, so many people will be unemployed. Same thing happened when industrialization happened. There were same kind of worries. But what happened with every new technology? People who adopt that new technology, there are so many opportunities also waiting for them. There are so many new offers, new dimension of job that gets created because of this new technology. So what we need to do is we need to adopt with the changing world. Uncertain scenarios have always been there. It will be there no matter what. So what we need to focus? We need to focus on controllables. We need to update ourselves with latest trends. That's the solution for this problem. So this was problem number 1. All right, let's talk about problem number 2. Problem number 2 is lack of recognition. It is very demotivating to see that our hard work has gone unnoticed. What happens, it not only puts us down in the given moment, but also discourages us from doing good in the future. We start thinking that when nobody notices our hard work, then what is the point of doing that? And that creates a spiral of negativity and stress. So what's the solution? What's the solution of not being recognized as much as we want to? Solution is very simple actually. I'll give you the solution in 3 parts. Part number 1 is acceptance. You see, first of all, you need to understand one thing, that if you are still working in the organization, most certainly you are contributing something to that organization. Otherwise, that company will throw you out. And I'm not saying this to put anyone down, but this is how corporate and businesses work. If you are not of any use to them, they will not want to keep you any longer in that organization. So first, understand this fact that you are contributing and accept what you are contributing. Recognize what you are contributing to the company. Recognize your achievement. Take pride in them. Celebrate your achievement. Until unless you are not going to recognize your achievement, how you are thinking that anybody else will recognize them? First, you need to recognize. First, you need to take pride in your achievements. Only then others are going to see. So this was part number one of the solution. Part number two of the solution is being vocal. Whenever you find opportunities, showcase your skills, showcase your expertise, seek opportunity to communicate about your impact, about the contribution that you have made. And you don't have to do it in a egoistic manner, but if you have done your first part right, if you are taking pride in your achievement, it will automatically come from within. So you need to focus on the first part more compared to the second part. If you have get the first thing right, that if you are accepting wholeheartedly what you have contributed and you are taking pride in that, second part will come automatically from within. Third and the most important part is celebrate the accomplishment of your team members. You see, it's all karma. Whatever goes around comes around. And by celebrating the accomplishment of your team member, you are fostering a culture of appreciation and support. So it's very, very important thing that when somebody else in your team achieves something, you wholeheartedly praise that person and genuinely support and appreciate that person. You see, when you start doing these things will start changing for you. So this was three-part solution. First part, acceptance, and then being vocal, and third, celebrate the accomplishments of your team member. Okay, so now let's come to problem number three. Problem number three is communication issues. You see, poor communication can lead to misunderstandings, and misunderstandings leads to conflict, and these conflicts adds to the stress level. Poor communication, whenever there is a poor communication, most likely there will be lack of clarity, and when there is a lack of clarity, misinterpretations can occur, and those misinterpretations can lead to decreased productivity and ineffective teamwork. So all this problem again adds to the stress. So what can be the solution for this communication issue? I'll give you 1 second to think about what is the key to effective communication. Okay, take 5 seconds. Key to effective communication is active listening. So many times we are focused that we have to focus on grammar, we have to focus on our tonality, we have to focus on our body language, we have to focus on our sentence structure. Whereas the key to effective communication is active listening. Listen very, very carefully when others are speaking. That is the key. That will improve your communication. That will increase your understanding towards any subject. That will increase your understanding towards others' perspective about the subject, about the problem. It will make you more clear about what others wants to convey. And when you are more clear about what others want to convey, you can you can rebut in a better way, you can respond in a better way. And whenever you think there is a clarity that is needed, ask them that I'm not clear about this and this. So please, can you help me understand what you were trying to convey here? Listen very carefully and actively when others are speaking. That's, I mean, if you are listening actively and carefully, more than 50% of communication issue will be resolved. Okay, so that was part one of the solution for the problem of communication issue. Part two of the solution is you need to find your own communication style. You see, some people like to talk fast. Some people wants to take it slowly. There are some people, if you give them a topic, they can instantly start speaking about it. And that's all right. And there are some people who think through it. They put together their chain of thoughts. They weave them in a pattern, and then they start talking. And everything is fine. It's nothing that one is better than the other. Everything is fine. So you need to find out the manner in which you talk peacefully and effectively. Find out that for yourself. Take help from colleagues, take help from people in your personal life as well, to find out, to gain the feedback in which manner you are more clear to them. Because ultimately, when you are speaking, it's not about you, it's about the people who are listening to you, whether your message is reaching to them, whether your message is very clear to them or not. So take feedback from people and improve and build from there. Find out your, so there are two-part solution. Number one, active listening, and number two is finding out your own communication style. So that was issue number three. All right. So now let's come to problem number four, that is lack of job satisfaction. And that is a huge problem. You can say that sometimes it's the mother of all problem as well. So other than lack of job satisfaction, we have discussed nine problems so far. All right. So those nine problem can also lead to lack of job satisfaction. But currently we are not talking about that. We are talking about something fundamental that can lead to lack of job satisfaction. And what is that fundamental thing? The thing is that sometimes when our values, when our interests and our long-term goals, these things, when they do not align with our work, we feel dissatisfied from that work. And it's not only about work. If our values, interests, and long-term goals are not aligning with our relationship, we will feel dissatisfied with our relationship. Same goes for business and any other area of your life. If your if your highest values are not being expressed there, you will not feel content with that particular area. So what you need to do, you need to take time, self reflect, and try to find out what are your highest values. Most of the time people are not aware with their uncompromisable values. Try to find out. I'll dedicate another episode to finding out the values, inner values. But in short, I can say, try to look at your past and try to find out the moment when you were the happiest and when you were down, and try to think of when you were the happiest, what were the values which were being expressed at that time, and when you were down, what were the values which were not being expressed at that time. And this will give you a perspective about what you value the most. And once you find out that, now it is the time that you try to look for whether it is aligning with your work or not. And if it is not aligning with your work, it does not mean that you need to leave your work immediately. See, our mind is very mysterious and wonderful at the same time. When we try to when we are confronted with a problem, our mind works in a magical way to find the solution for that problem. So when you find out your values, and if your work is not aligning with your values, what you need to do, you need to try to find out the areas, you need to try to find out the opportunities where you can express your values through your work. I can give you an example. Like one of my highest values is making an impact, and I have been in IT industry for more than a decade. Initially, when I thought about IT, it was looking like I'm sitting in front of a machine doing something on the keyboard, which most of the people has no idea about what I'm doing. But when I so it was mostly dissatisfying work in the beginning. It was very brief period. But when I looked at the same work from the perspective that how technology can change people's life, look at ATM, uh, look at uh, look at Uber, look at Facebook, look at Instagram. All these are pieces of technology. Uber does not own a single taxi, but it is just an aggregator platform which has come out of coding, which has been developed by software developers like me, or maybe better than me. So, but it has enabled so many people to find a job as a taxi driver. Earlier, being a taxi driver was a very you can say time taking process. You need to learn the map of the city. You need to be thorough with the every nook and corner, every route of the city. Then only you can be the taxi driver. Now, with the help of Uber, you have map, you have mobile. Now you can be the taxi driver if you know how to drive a car. So this is how technology changes people's life. And when I try to look at this from this perspective, that Whatever I'm doing, it is going to change people's life. My whole perspective towards my work has shifted. So this is how you can also think that how your values can be expressed through your work. And once you find out that, the job dissatisfaction will become the thing of past. So this was problem number 4, lack of job satisfaction. All right. So these are four problems and their solutions. Now come back to tips. Tip number 1 for today is sound therapy. You see, we all are aware of the power of music. It can lift our mood, and at the same time, when we are listening to some sad music, it can uh, transport us in a different kind of mood, right? So music has that power to shift our mood. We all know that. So why not explore that? Why not explore that power in our workplace? And we know that sound of nature has a lot of power, like sound of water, sound of sea waves, sound of birds chirping, and wind blowing, right? So these sound has a lot of power to calm our nervous system and reduce our stress. Also, you can experiment. You can experiment what kind of music you want to listen to your workplace, that gives you a soothing feeling. And do not forget to use your headphone for two reasons. Number one, that you do not disturb others. And number two, you can explore the full power of the sound, high beats of the sound that can transport you to the state of tranquility. Experiment with different kind of sound, natural sounds, and different kind of beats, which can help reduce your stress level and bring more of that zeal and energy which you need at the workplace. That was tip number 1, sound therapy. Okay, so tip number 2 is nutrition. You see, what you eat profoundly influences your energy levels and ability to cope with the stress. Studies has time and again shown that there are certain kind of food that can bring down the stress level, and if you incorporate those kind of food in your daily diet, you will be more equipped physically to battle with the stress, any kind of stress. So include a wholesome, balanced diet to support stress management, right? Incorporate foods which are rich in antioxidants, which are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which are rich in vitamins and trace minerals. Now, it all might seem like a lot of jargons. If that is the case, what you need to do is just try to go as natural as possible. Try to cut down maximum of processed food. If you are not using any kind of processed food, that's the best. But usually that does not happen with our day-to-day life. So try to keep it at minimum and shift your food towards the natural things, like grains, like leafy greens, like different kind of vegetables which are locally grown and organically grown, which does not have to travel miles and miles to reach to you, right? So all these things, things which are seasonally grown, all these things, when you try to shift your diet towards more of a natural diet, it will automatically keep you healthy. Point number 1. Also, it will keep you happy and it will keep stress at bay. So nutrition has a huge, huge role. I can dedicate multiple episode on the nutrition itself, in its role in fighting with the stress. So that was tip number 2. Keep your nutrition in check. All right. So tip number 3 here is inspiring workspaces. You see, we need to create a workspace in which we can work and at the same time feel inspired about. So what you can do is incorporate few elements of nature, like a plant, or maybe modify your workplace in such a way that you are getting some natural light. All these things promotes a calming environment. You can keep some quotes in your workspace that can motivate you, that can provide you some push towards the work, day to day work, some images that resonate with your values. And maybe you can keep some token from the past, some trophy from the past that can uh, remind you about your past achievement, that can motivate you towards doing better and better. So all in all, curating a space that aligns with your values and inner desire, that inspire you, You create a harmonious atmosphere that supports your well-being and happiness. So all you need to do is keep the element that keeps you happy and motivating in your workplace. So that was tip number 3, that you need to create inspiring workspaces around you. All right. So tip number 4 is time management at work. This has been there since the birth of humanity. We all have this 24 hours, and we try to make the most and the best possible out of this 24 hour. And if you want to make the most out of this 24 hour, you have to manage the time very, very effectively. And this in itself is a huge topic, a vast topic. I can dedicate multiple episode, and I am planning to dedicate multiple episode towards the time management in upcoming future. But in short, what you need to do is you need to prioritize your task. You need to see how you can spend time wisely where you are not overloaded with work. You have some time to relax, and at the same time you're not relaxing too much that your work is slipping away from you. Keep room for errors and unexpected event when you are planning for when you are creating your schedule, right? Prioritize your task and keep the deadlines realistic. This is very important. What happens when we see a problem? Most of the time we see the problem from a surface level. We do not want to get into the nuances, and that sometimes we underestimate the problem or sometimes we overestimate the problem, and that leads to non-realistic judgment of the timeline for that particular task. So understand the problem well and keep the timeline deadlines as realistic as possible. So in a nutshell, that is time management. Always remember that time is a scarce and very valuable resource. You do not get whatever time you are spending, you do not get it back. So investing it wisely can lead to greater peace of mind and holistic success and holistic happiness. So that was tip number 4, time management. And the last one for today is laugh together. This is therapeutic. When you laugh together with your colleagues, with the people around you, it has a transformative benefits. It is not only contagious but also a powerful stress reliever. Laughing releases endorphins. That endorphins is a hormones that boost your mood and promotes a positive work atmosphere. Find out a reason to laugh, share a funny video, engage in a light-hearted conversation with your colleagues, and find some moments of humor during your day. You see, by infusing laughter into your work routine, you can create a joyful and uplifting environment, nurturing your well being and can cultivate meaningful connection with your colleagues. Laughing is a sure, short way, in my opinion, when you want to uh, nurture your connections with anyone, be it your colleague or be it anyone. When you can laugh together, I mean, you can diffuse so much of tension, you can diffuse so much of stress in between that laughter, and that promotes your relationship. Now, here is a very important point that you need to keep in mind, that you are not laughing at negative things about your workplace, because that's very easy. When you talk to colleagues, what happens that talk gets converted into bitching about the company or the workplace in which you are working, and we think that roasting or talking negatively can increase our laughing quotient, and it does actually, but in the long run it adds up to the negativity. So do not talk negative about your workplace, and I have talked about it in a previous episode. So keep it lighthearted and positive. So that was last tip, laugh together. All right, so here we come to the end of problems and solution and tips. Let me add here that I have written a book on the same topic. The title of the book is A Definitive Guide to Go from Stressful to Stress-Free at Workplace. And currently this book is available for free on my website. So please go and check out that and get your copy today itself. My website is akshaytiwari.in. I'm also available on Instagram. The handle for Instagram is Happiness Architect. You can also join my Facebook group, VIP Facebook group, where we can connect, discuss so many other things. All the links I will give in the description box and the show notes, so you can check these things out. I really want to know from all of you that what you have learned so far from this series. What are your problems, your challenges on the workspace that you deal with every day on a regular basis, and how you deal with them? Did any of my tip and tricks that has helped you in that direction, or you have something else, something of your own to help deal with the stress? I really want to know from all of you. So please let me know in the comment box. Until the time we are seeing each other again, take very good care of yourself, take care of your family members, take care of the people around you. Bye bye, see you, God bless you, peace.